Hello and welcome back to our course on modding Europa Universalis 4 for beginners. My name is Alex, or Midgeman, and I am one of your community ambassadors for Europa Universalis. And I have the utmost joy of bringing you through this course written by our wonderful modding community. This is part 4 of 5 of our beginners modding journey. Today, we will be covering 2 new topics in our guide to modding Europa Universalis 4, culture and religion modding. These 2 aspects of modding are some of the most requested and something many of you wish to often create and edit. By the end of this tutorial, you should be able to do the following. Create a brand new culture with both a country and a province set to this culture, as well as create a new religion in a new religion group that has its own unique modifiers. To start up, let us create 4 new folders in our mod directory that we have been slowly developing through this course of study. Go to the mod directory, then the My First Mod folder, then go into the common folder. Here, create a folder called Cultures and create a folder called Religions. We should also open up the local game directory, which we discussed how to do in the 3rd video of this series, as we'll need it a lot for today's video. Cultures. Now we're going to start by creating our custom culture. First, in the local game directory, go into the common folder and then go into cultures. Take the culture file and copy it. We want to place this in our mod file, so copy it and place it in our newly created cultures folder. Opening up our culture file shows us all of the base game cultures and culture groups. We want to create a brand new culture group as well as a brand new culture. Let's go to the very bottom of this file and create our culture group. All cultures need to be inside a culture group in order to be recognized by the game code. To do that, we type myfirstculture_group equals open curly brackets. Everything inside this bracket will be within that culture group. Now let's create our culture. Inside those defines, we type myfirstculture equals curly bracket. This is the basic setup, but a few more things are needed before it's totally complete. First, we need to give our culture names: male names, female names, and dynastic names. To do this, we should type it out like this. To add names, you simply type them within the brackets. I'm going to add the names John and Jane for male and female names. If you want to make a name have multiple words in it, you have to add them with quotation marks. For example, if I wanted to create the dynasty name Paradox, I wouldn't need quotation marks. However, I would need quotation marks for the dynasty name Von Paradox. We're not done with cultures yet. We still have a few more things we could add. If you want a primary tag for the culture, all you would need to do is add the line primary equals in the culture file. Primary tags are important for assigning the correct tags to rebels. If a province has this culture and has unrest, separatist rebels for the MFM tag can rise up. You assign this by adding tag equals followed by the nation tag, in this case MFM, within your culture. If you want to add a second culture to the group, you can do the following. This culture will be in the same culture group and will share the same names as the first culture. You can put names inside a specific culture if you want only one culture within a culture group to have access to these names. If you want it to have distinct names, you would have to add the male and female name list to the second culture directly. For example, I'm going to add the names Johnson and Jane Doe, as well as the dynastic name Von Last Name. There's still one more thing we can add to culture, and that's a province and country modifier. Cultures can apply modifiers to tags and their provinces. It's primarily used for unique units, but it can be used as regular modifiers as well. For example, if we wanted a country with our culture to have plus 25% land force limit modifier, we would simply type country equals open curly brackets land underscore force limit underscore modifier equals 0.25 close curly brackets and place it within our culture. If we wanted every province of this culture to gain a -2 local unrest, then we would add an additional line like this: province equals open curly brackets local underscore unrest equals -2 close curly brackets. A note: the culture file requires an encoding of ANSI, so an encoding of Windows 1252 will work. If you try a different style of encoding, it could cause errors or bugs. Next, we have to localize our culture. Going to our mod directory, opening up the localization folder, and opening up the localization file that we set up in a previous video, we will put in our culture group. and then our cultures themselves. My first culture underscore group plus its name, my first culture plus its name, and my second culture, its name. Last but certainly not least, we need to place these cultures on the map. Going back to the mod directory, opening up the history folder and going into the province folder, we should see only a single province in there. Let's open this up. In here, change the line culture equals Swedish to culture equals my first culture. Now, Stockholm will start out as a my first culture province. Next, going back to the history folder, open up the countries folder. There, we should see our country, mfm myfirstcountry.txt. Let's open this up and go down to primary underscore culture equals Swedish. We're going to change this to primary underscore culture equals my first culture. Now, our country will be my first culture. With that, our new culture has been set up. Religion group. To start with religions, let's go back to our mod directory and go into the common folder. In there, create a new folder called religion if we haven't already done so. In this folder, we're going to create a new file called myfirstmod underscore religions.txt. We're going to create both a new religion group and a new religion itself. If you want to add a religion to an existing group, you would have to go into the base game directory, copy over the 00 underscore religions file, and add your religion into the group that you wanted. Opening up our religion file, we want to add a new line, calling it myfirstreligion underscore group equals curly brackets. This is our religion group. All religions must be in a religion group. Any religion entries that we put inside these brackets will be considered a heretic of our religion. Any religion outside of these brackets will be considered a heathen. Next, we want to add these lines. Flags underscore with underscore emblems underscore percentage equals 10, and flag underscore emblem underscore index underscore range equals open curly brackets 8396 close curly brackets. This is for random flag generation. When creating things like client states, you might want to control what emblems actually appear on the flag, like a cross or a star and crescent, etc., or how often they appear on the flag. The first define here is the percent of flags that will spawn with an emblem, and the index range tells us which set of emblems to pick from. For the purposes of today, this is not something we really need to go over, so we will now simply leave these numbers as is. Before we add our religion, there are some things that we could add to our religion group. Number 1, the Defender of the Faith, which enables the Defender of the Faith mechanics. You can add this by typing a defender underscore of underscore faith equals yes. Personal unions, which enables the formation of personal unions. You can add this by typing can underscore form underscore personal underscore unions equals yes. Centers of religion, which sets up a province as a center of religion. It can be very useful for certain triggers and events. You can add this by typing center underscore of underscore religion equals X, with X being the province ID of your choice. Crusade name, which will set a custom name for holy war casus belli, like crusade or jihad. You can add these by typing crusade underscore name equals X, with X being a localized name for the crusade name. Religious schools, which will enable different schools for different religions. Due to the complexity of this subject, we'll expand on this at a later time. Religion icon. Now, we will want to add our religion icon. We're going to add a new line in our religion group, writing the following. My first religion equals open curly brackets. My first religion is our religion, and there's a lot to add. So let's start with the thing that every religion needs. First, we need to set a color for the religion map mode. The color selection uses RGB colors. So we would type out the religion's color like so. Color equals open curly brackets, and for this case, 100, 100, 100. Close brackets. Next, we need to add an icon. The icon is the symbol of the religion. The GFX file containing all of the icons can be found by going into the local files, going to GFX, and opening the file icon underscore religion.dds. The icons shown there are arranged from left to right. Each icon is a 64 by 64 pixel frame, meaning there are 29 frames in this image. Frame 1 is the Catholic cross, frame 2 is the Protestant cross, and so on and so forth. You have two options here. 1, you can reuse an already existing icon, or 2, you can create your own. If you wanted to make your religion have the Catholic cross as an icon, you would type icon equals 1, which would tell the code to find the first frame in this file to load as the icon for your religion. To complete option 2, this will require a little bit more work. First, we want to copy over these three files: the icon_religion.dds file, the icon_religion_small.dds file, and the country_icon_religion.dds file, and put them in our GFX folder. Create a new folder called interface within our GFX folder, and paste these into there. We also want to add the province_view_religions.dds file into this folder. We need to create an icon for our religion. This should be smaller than 64 by 64 pixels. First, we're going to head over to the icon_religion.dds file. Expand your image canvas horizontally to the right by 64 pixels, taking it to 920 pixels in total, and make sure to delete any space with coloration in it to avoid any transparency issues. You can now paste an icon onto the end of this list of icons that you have prepared earlier. Of course, this isn't the only place you would need to edit and add the religion icon. You would need to add it to the following: the country_icon_religion.dds, which is the diplomacy view icon, and thankfully uses the 64 by 64 pixel format, the icon_religion_small.dds, which is the province view version of the icon, which must be a size 32 by 32 pixels, and you need to expand your canvas to the right by 32 pixels to 960 pixels in total instead of the 64 we did previously. Province_view_religion.dds, which is the icon that appears when a center of reformation appears. This again must be 32 by 32 pixels, and you must expand your canvas to the right by 32 pixels. All of these need to go into the GFX folder you created in your mod directory. Note when saving, please make sure the images have the save setting of B8 or higher. Otherwise, the image might be compressed and pixelated. Because you changed the number of frames in the image, we need to make sure we edit the interface files as well. Create a new folder in your directory called interface, and from the same location in the same local files, the interface folder, copy over the following files: countryview.gfx, ledger.gfx, and provinceview.gfx. All of these can be opened with your text editor program. In your countryview.gfx file, find the lines with the names gfx_icon_religion, gfx_country_icon_religion, and gfx_icon_religion_small. Since you've added a new frame to each of these files, you need to adjust your frame numbers from 29 to 30. In provinceview.gfx, do the same for the line with the name gfx_province_view_religion. And in the ledger.gfx, do the same for the line with the name gfx_religion_icon_strip. If this is done correctly, you would then type the following into our religion. My first religion, icon equals 30. Religion modifiers. With the icon finished, we can now finally get around to adding modifiers. All religions have country modifiers, which can be added by typing country equals, followed by your chosen modifiers. In this case, we're going for land morale and global tax modifier. There can be more than 2 modifiers, but it's important to note that in the religion menu, only 2 modifiers will be immediately visible. So it's recommended to keep the country modifiers to 2. Religions can also have province modifiers, so all provinces of this religion would gain these bonuses. To add these, type the following: provinces equals, followed by open curly brackets, followed by your chosen modifier. In this case, we're going for local missionary strength. Province modifiers are fairly rare, but often religions will have a local missionary strength bonus for major religions. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism all have this modifier to slow down conversion of their provinces. Next, we should add a modifier for when this religion is made a secondary religion through the syncretism mechanic. This is also a country modifier. Let's add one in. To do this, we use the define country_as_secondary, followed by the modifier. Now, if we want, we can enable our religion to convert to another religion through the religion menu. To do this, we have to add the following: allowed_conversion equals, whichever religion we put inside these brackets, we can convert to. If we wanted to be able to convert from my first religion to Catholic, we would add Catholic in all lowercase. Next, we might want to add an effect for when someone converts to our religion. To do that, let's add the following: on_convert equals open curly bracket, followed by the following effects. The country modifier we are adding is the conversion zeal modifier, which is standard for when converting to a religion, granting plus 10% missionary strength. You can add any effect into this. If you want an event to fire, or add an opinion modifier to kick in, this is where you would want to add that. Next, we want to add heretics for our religion. To do this, add the following. Heretic equals my second religion. This does not require a brand new religion to create. You just need to localize my second religion as the name being used for religious rebels that could fire depending on the game state. Religion mechanics. We need to add mechanics. Religion mechanics are the unique systems that certain religions have, such as the papacy mechanic for Catholicism, or the karma mechanic of the Buddhist faiths. Here is a list of the mechanics and what they might require. Papacy, which, if brand new, requires setting up different papal actions, election costs, and the papal tag itself. Further, which needs no setup and can be added by adding further equals yes to the code. Fetishist cults, which require enabling or adding different cults to countries. These can be added by adding fetishist equals yes. Patriarchs, which is hard-coded and can only be adjusted globally, but can be added by adding patriarch equals yes. Personal deity, which requires either enabling or creating new personal deities. Piety, which is hard-coded and can only be adjusted globally, and can be added by adding piety equals yes. Inti authority, Nahuatl Doom, and the Maya religion reforms, which are hard-coded and can only be adjusted globally. Church power, which requires enabling certain church edicts and also creating a window for the church power in countryreligionview.gui. Anglican aspects, which requires enabling certain aspects and also creating a window for church power in the countryreligionview.gui. Karma, which is hard-coded and can only be adjusted globally. Isolationism, which is hard-coded and can only be adjusted globally. You can add new incidents through the 00_isolationism file. Incidents can be religion-specific. Ancestors, which you can add new personality types to add new modifiers. Gurus, which need to be individually defined. Harmony, which will need each heretic religion and heathen religion to have a custom modifier and define. Blessings, which need holy sites defined along with unique modifiers and GFX for each. And Judaism festivals, which are similar to Anglican aspects. You can also include no mechanic, which we will be doing here. Each of these mechanics you can find more information within the EU4 wiki, which goes into more depth about how each of these operate and the modability of these mechanics. As this is a basic guide, we will not be going any further in depth here. Other mechanics you can include. Number 1. can_have_secondary_religion equals yes, which will enable the secondary religion mechanic. Number 2. declare_war_in_regency equals yes will enable the ability to declare war within a regency council. Number 3. misguided_heretic equals yes enables the misguided heretic bonus. Number 4. HRE_religion equals yes, which sets this religion to be the current HRE religion. 5. HRE_heretic_religion equals yes, which determines if this religion is to be the main heresy of the HRE. And 6. Date equals X, which determines when the religion should appear for the history files and later start dates. We need to add a crusade name. We are going to add the generic crusade name equals crusade, as all religions are required to have this. You can make yours whatever you might like. You just need to localize it. Religion localization. Now we are going to localize the religion. Go into our mod directory, opening the localization folder and opening up our localization file that we set up in the previous video. We now need to put in our religion group and our religion name, as well as a description. You can do so using the following defines. And with that, our religion has its basic localization set up. Adding the religion. Last but certainly not least, let's add our religion to the province and the country. Just like we did with the culture, let's go into our mod directory, history, provinces, and then go to 1-upland. In there, we will change the religion from religion equals Catholic to religion equals my first religion. Next, return back to our history folder and click on the countries folder. Opening our mfm-my first mod file, you will replace the religion equals Catholic with religion equals my first religion. Now, when we load up the game, you should see our brand new culture and brand new religion. Thank you so much for watching and continuing learning how to mod Europa Universalis 4 with us here on the Europa Universalis channel. Join us next time for the final part in our primary course on Europa Universalis modding, where we will be covering setting up custom missions and mission trees. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video if you found it helpful. and let us know in the comments what you called your religion and where you set it up. We'll see you next time.